Hello, everybody. You are. Let's start. Oh boy, let's start that over. Hello, everybody. It is. Uh, let's do. Oh, yeah. Duh. We gotta do this over. We gotta do this shit over. You know what? Fuck it. We're sticking to it. It is Sunday. You are watching BlakeStone podcast. It is a train wreck here today. I am your constant host, Blake Stone, and we got a loaded roster today as far as the notepad is concerned on my phone. But we'll just start off with some domestic shit going on in my life. So let me tell you about my garbage can situation. So we got the mailbox. So here's the driveway. The neighbors are on. The neighbors are over. The neighbors are on the left. We got a fence. We got a driveway, and then we got over here. We got mailboxes. A mailbox. So we just don't have anywhere to go with our dang trash cans. I got a real small area, like, I don't know, 20 feet to work with for the mailbox and the trash cans. And I can block the driveway, but I really got to go all the way next to the neighbor's property to try this, to allow the garbage man to come take our garbage. Well, I need space for the mailman to come and get to the mailbox. There's just no space for anyone to play. So I do my best to get the cans far away from the mailbox. And Tuesday morning last week, they go and take the cans. Well, they go and dump. They dump. So recycling comes first. No, trash comes first. They knock over 2 other cans in the process because I kind of wedged them together to save space. I mean, I didn't squeeze them together real bad, but they were a little too close together, and they got this big mechanical arm. It's a big goddamn thing. So they knock over everything. I go back out there like, God damn it, you know. But I kind of understood. And then after picking up these 2 cans and going back, and I even took the one that had been emptied. Now recycling needs to come. I had picked up all the paper and shit that went over the road from the recycling bucket. They have to come. I don't know at what point this happened, but somebody knocks over the other can. I think it was the dang mailman. I gave them all the room in the world. I don't understand, but I had to go back out a second time and pick up that can and stand it up. God damn it, you know, and it's like, I don't know how to make everybody happy. Because I think I'm just gonna start blocking the mailbox on mail day and just be like, fuck it, because I can't win against these goofballs, man. They run over my trash cans. What am I supposed to fucking do? So we're going to try again next week, and I'll keep you updated. I'm going to move those cans to the far side, try that once, see if that works out. Oh man, what can you do? In the least interesting news ever, I used a blade to shave my face, and man, I got this mole. Which way do I have to turn? Over here. Wait. This mole over here, and I hit it with the blade, and it just has been bleeding on and off all night and into the morning. Luckily, it didn't bleed all night, but I didn't bleed on the blanket, thank God, the bed sheets. But I accidentally did one of these and reopened it earlier today, and it's just kind of a mess. But I like to use Harry's razors. I used one on my head and I got pretty close. But I'm like faded. I'm smoking my brains out when I'm doing this. Do you like my coffee mug? I think I can improve this picture though. Gotta get the coffee off my fingers. It's still wet. You know how hard this is to do when you're... This is a great fucking show I'm doing right here. Look at this garbage. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm exposing too much to this pigsty. Anyway, so... Fuck, I forgot what I was talking about. God damn it. This... Dude, we smoke here and we get confused. Oh, yeah, and it's just a little patchy, believe it or not. I got too high before shaving. I nicked this part of my nose. But these Harry's razors, they work great. You know, and if you're careful, you won't cut the shit out of yourself. But it's funny. If you tweet Harry's razors and ask them about shaving your fucking head with their blades, they will flip the fuck out. They don't like it. They don't like it when you ask them about using their blades to shave. They're not enthusiastic about it. So, and I don't know why. In fact, I talked to I was talking to a coworker, and just checking shit, and he was like, yeah, you know, I said the same thing to them, and they also told me not to shave my head with them. With the blades, and I was like, well, how did all that end? And he's like, well, that was it. And I go, yeah, me too, that was the whole conversation. They're like, don't do that. You'll be fine. Get the Harry's this is my endorsement. Get Harry's razors and shave your head with the Harry's razor. Be careful, you'll cut the fuck out of yourself. They're really sharp blades, but whatever, be a man, you know, just don't be scared of the blade. I should get this goddamn mole on my neck removed. Not because it's ugly and unsightly, although it is kind of ugly and unsightly. I hit it with my fucking blade, and that's a big problem. I don't know how to shave around it. Maybe I should just use a actual... I don't want to buy the expensive blades. I don't like the fucking expensive replacement blades. Those Harry's razors are nothing. They don't cost you shit. And yeah, I don't get I don't get why all the other blades are so fucking expensive. I don't. But shave your head. If you're starting to go bald, shave your head. Be a man, shave your head. Like, don't be a puss about it. I've been shaving my head since my early 20s. Maybe 23, 22, 23 maybe. Just realized, hey, going bald, fuck it. Bicked my head one day, made people real uncomfortable, and that was the new Gabe. I am permanently bald. And you know, people, they're babies. They care way too much about what people think about them. Trying to think of a good example. I mean, shit. Like, we'll just stay with the topic. Everyone's such a baby about losing their hair, you know. And who do you have to impress? Like, I honestly, like, I think going like this, it just gets people. It gets the assholes out of the way. The only reason why I'm wearing a hat is because I'm trying to be fancy for the video, but like. I don't ever wear a hat because I'm scared that people are gonna know I'm bald. That's not an option. Not in my mind. I don't give a fuck. And everyone's just so scared. They're so scared of what people have to think of them. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, like, oh shit, you shouldn't. We're having an earthquake in here. you like you can't you I'm trying to think of the worst examples of like not taking a shower. You gotta take a shower. You gotta care what people think of you to that extent, right? Um, you gotta be polite, in my opinion. Like politeness is next to godliness. I know that's not a phrase, but it is now. You gotta use your fucking turn signal, because you could get someone killed. But like when it comes to losing your hair, like whatever, shit happens. Just shave it off. And like we live in a world where people are scared, just terrified, like, oh, I'm going bald and girls won't like me. And like, awful women won't like you. If you can't find a lady that appreciates you without the hair, well then fuck it. You can at some point. Like I'm not gonna say there's ever a day where we should stop improving who we are, but at some point, you just gotta accept. I don't know. Like I don't care about making people like me. It's not on my radar. I don't care. Because I'm not terribly enthusiastic about the average person I meet. The average person around here, they think of themselves. They don't hold doors. If you do hold a door, they'll just walk right through and won't even look at you. They might even bump into you. Like, everyone's so, they have a one-track mind, and there's no mental capacity for multitasking. There's no mental capacity for observing the world around them. Like, you'll get hit by a car and die around here. You gotta watch out. And I just the part of my brain that says we live in a society and there's people all around me all the time and there's almost no time where someone isn't watching me. That's something I've accepted because I live in a city. Some people just drive down the road like they're invisible, like no one matters but them. And I don't know. But like when it comes to like you just can't, you got to be yourself. You can't let people get in the way of of embracing who you are. And that's why I'm not like I'm not super conservative, but I'm also not super enthusiastic about all these all the gender changing stuff. Like I don't know. Like it's I feel like I in my opinion, your organs depict who you are. Whatever's between your legs depicts who you are. If you're a hermaphrodite, born that way, then that's complicated, but that's a low number of people. And I've always, that doesn't mean I don't give a shit if someone's not a manly man. I don't give a shit if a girl isn't a girly girl, and it's just what are you passionate about? And I'm not a homophobe. I don't like if a guy wears a dress, I don't give a shit, like whatever. But I think if we're like doing the whole surgery thing to change our gender like that, I don't like cosmetic surgery in the first place. And there's some things about us that we may not like, but you just got to get over it. If there's things about you can't change, you just got to embrace that. I think surgery is not, that's cheating. Like I don't know. And I'm not, I have no desire to change to being a female. I don't really spend a lot of time thinking of my masculinity, because I'm a diversified person. I like flowers. I like heavy metal. I like car crashes. I like the Dixie Chicks. You know, like we spend so much time about what makes a man, what makes a woman. I think being responsible and being good to one another is important. Most of all, I think a lot of society's standards on being what makes a man or a woman is bullshit. It's just nonsense. I don't know. Most people just follow what society wants to tell them. Just be yourself, but I don't believe in the getting surgery part. I don't. Um, yeah, I don't really know how to expound on any of that. But we speaking of gender stuff. Let's just get into the news. I didn't really pull news stories. I just happened to get hit with a couple of them. Man, I'm gacking on this. You know, so I switched from the Keurig to the back to the pot because my bunch. I got a few boxes of Keurig pods that got fried in the heat because my kitchen's not insulated well, and that pissed me off. And a lot of these Keurig pods just kind of strike out. They don't taste great. They're not strong. So I just bought some bags and I actually bought a new coffee pot recently because I have a double unit, which is a Keurig and a coffee pot. It does the Keurig part fine as far as I can tell. The coffee pot part's not so good. A lot of the water escapes out of, or vapor escapes out of it. It's not sealed good. So I went and said, fuck it. And I got a cheapo coffee pot, and it just does a better job. And now this shit, it's like switching from sugar to crack. This shit is so strong. But regardless, where are we going with all this? The Olympics. So I'll rewind to that whole intro debacle next. But let's talk about the man that beat up the lady at the Olympics. Now, I'm a firm believer of equal rights and lefts, right? If a man wants to fight, if a woman wants to fight a man, fine. If a man wants to fight a woman, you better have a good reason, because you'll probably win, and it's probably not going to be fair. Usually, most of the time, you know. I'm a firm believer in women. Just look, there are some things that women just aren't as good at as compared to men because they're built different, and the opposite's true with men. Like I've seen a lot of guys that suck at tying knots and strings and stuff, and every woman I've ever met has been excellent with anything involving a string, which is important. Tying knots, very important skill in life. I learned that in Boy Scouts, and I learned I was bad at it. If a man's fighting a woman, usually he's gonna win because of how we're built. If a woman wants to work really hard and try to, circumvent that gap, then all the power to her. That's hot, and I'm all for it. But we had a man fight a woman in the Olympics in boxing, and he beat the dog shit out of her. And this is just like this had already gone too far. This whole gender bullshit. I like to think of myself as a liberal, but not on this topic. I can't be. Like, first and foremost, you can kill people in the ring. If there's, if two guys are fighting, that's why we have weight classes, because a big guy can kill a little guy with one punch. It's like a car accident. And a guy can kill a lady, and it just was an unfair fight. And I think it's unfair to women as well. I think a woman wants a fair fight too. Women should fight women, men should fight men. I think if we want to break those rules, I think it's up to the woman to decide if she wants to fight at such a disadvantage. I think it should be completely up to her. Now, I don't know I don't get it. You know, it's like there's something wrong these days. It's like there's something wrong with you if you want to be traditional. And don't get me wrong. I think part of the reason the left has gone out of control is because the right has been completely obsessed with tradition to a fault. Like, you know, they're not exactly the innovators over there on the right. And they've been very intolerant of homosexuals and anything of the sort. Now, where was I going with all this? God damn it, I lost my train of thought. Welcome to the BlakeStone podcast, where we get baked and we make a podcast, and it's going to come together, warts and all. Holy shit. There's certain things that weed's like, it's like a character creator smoking weed. When you're building character in an RPG, you only have so many points, and if you want to raise the points in one area, you got to drop the points in another area. So with marijuana, I'm better at certain things and worse at other things, and keeping my shit together is one thing I'm bad at when I'm smoking here. But we got it. This is crossing the line, this gender shit. This is the Olympics, and it's putting lives in danger. It's spitting on women's athletics in a whole, and this is the biggest stage of all, the fucking Olympics. Like, and on top of it all, combined with the far left's intro to the Olympics with the lady with the beard and the weird the lady in the castle holding the head, and the whole. Now, I don't know if they were honestly picking on the Christians with the whole Last Supper picture, because I don't know if there are other. They were saying, no, it wasn't a Christian thing, it was something else. I don't know if that's real, honestly. I don't know if what they're saying is true. I didn't investigate it because, like, look, when the Christians get mad about anything, there's not a lot of times I give a damn, because it's about their doctrine that I don't believe in. And so I don't have a dog in this fight. And so when they say, hey, these far lefters are picking on us and they're spitting in our face, they're mocking us. Let's turn this mic up. They're mocking us with this Last Supper bullshit they've done on the Olympics. And maybe there's other actually, you know, let's tell you what, guys. Can I find Olympics intro? Gotta keep your head on a swivel these days, you know. Well, I can't find it, but the Olympics intro, it was a mess. It was a mess, and all right, so the Christians are mad, and I say, when people talk about pushing back on, picking on, making fun of, when they say the left, who I don't agree with, the far left, the crazy left, I don't agree with on much of anything. And then you have the far right, the Christians. I don't agree with them on. Well, I agree with them on some things, and I guess both parties I agree with on certain sides, certain elements. But when they do their ridiculous ceremony at the opening ceremony to the Olympics, that makes no sense. And then Christians say, "Hey, you're picking on us" at the same time. It's like while watching two people argue about comic books. These are it's fiction on both sides, right? And like I don't know. I don't believe a lot of the Bible is true. I'm not a Christian anymore. I haven't been for a long time, and so when people say they're making fun of the Bible, I'm like, if they're making fun of Cat in the Hat, it wouldn't matter to me just the same. But from a business standpoint, who is the businessman at the Olympics? Businesswoman, business person. Who is the person handling retention rate, viewership, image, things like this? Who the fuck is involved with the Olympics? Because, like, I know you shouldn't be obsessed with the business angle of the Olympics because it's like, it's more importantly a thing that everyone should get around and enjoy. But like on the other hand, like you can't scare everyone off at the same time as well. Like the Olympics has destroyed economies everywhere it went. There's very few countries that are going to be willing to do the Olympics in the future. It's like you need to. And the sad part is there's been a lot of good sportsmanship, a lot of good talent out there, and they've been just screwing up a good thing by pitting a man against a woman and doing this terrible opening ceremony that pissed off a lot of conservatives, which I don't care, but you need to grow your audience now if you are working at the Olympics. Right, whatever the fuck. If you're who's responsible? Like whoever's responsible for the business arm of the Olympics, they need to be fired because everything they're doing is just scaring people off. They are not kicking ass in any stretch of the imagination. All they're doing is pushing people away, and I wonder, like, they're already looking at a potential end of the Olympics as we run out of countries that are willing to host it. Like, what does this mean now that they just put a bullet in an already crippled endeavor? So that was, as a person that's not religious, my opinion about that ceremony, it was fucking weird and not in a good way. Not something I wanted to see. It was ridiculous at best. Like, it was a dumb ceremony at best. I'm not caught up in the politics of it, really, but I'm here to talk about the politics because it's part of the conversation. I don't give a shit about the Christians getting mad and the liberals and I don't care. Except it was dumb as hell. It's dumb as hell, and the lady holding the head is too much. It's too much. It's gonna scare the crap out of the children. It's too much. I'm watching security cameras. I thought it was kind of cool, but it's not the place to be having a lady holding her head and just freaking out, giving kids nightmares. Like, come on. Like, so now the Olympics is an adult show. Like, I hate to be the guy that says think about the children, but what the hell? The whole family should be able to get together and watch this without getting all these mixed emotion. So, what a mess. Like, they're killing the Olympics. I don't know what to say about that. Um, what else in the news? In video game news, I guess Game Informer shut down, but I thought they stopped making that. I should have fielded this story, done some reading, but yeah, I guess GI shut down, and I thought they stopped making that magazine like 10 years ago. For those of you who don't know, Game Informer is the magazine that the video game retailer GameStop produces, and they stopped making that magazine a long time ago, but I guess I don't know why I saw an article just last week saying they shut down. So whatevs, but GameStop was in a lot of trouble before they got their tires pumped, their stocks pumped, and that whole thing happened. So I don't know how they're not closing stores left and right, but that's going to be happening eventually, right? Like getting rid of all the physical media. It sucks. I hate it. And all these assholes that are inflating the prices of used games, and then they defend all that bullshit. I was at a bar one time, and I was talking to the bartender. I wanted to chat with him about video games, and then I rapidly realized, oh, he sells video games. Okay, and he just couldn't contribute to the video game conversation. And then eventually I learned, oh, this guy doesn't care about video games. And he got really mad when I said that the video game, that the brand, forgot what they were called, I was responsible for like vetting a lot of these games, and the prices was under investigation because all the video game prices were going through the roof for used video games. And I brought up this court case, and he's like, oh, it's all bullshit, blah, 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 and he got kind of pissed. These are bullshit inflated prices, and the only people that are down with these prices are the assholes who are interested in jacking up the prices, because there's no reason inflation should not fuck with the price of a used game to the point that it is. Like, no one's dying because they're not getting their copy of Mario. This isn't food, right? So I think the whole used game market is rotten with greedy mofos, and there's a reason why they get BH when you bring it up, because they know they're ripping us off. And this guy I talked to, the bartender, was not passionate about video games. He doesn't care about video games. He just wants people's money. But Game Informer shutting down. I think this could come with GameStop's closing, but we'll see. Twitch, I guess, is continuing to lose money after, like, Amazon bought them for $1 billion like 10 years ago. They still haven't found a way to make money with that side, even with ads and all that. I don't get it. Don't get it at all. I guess they went from like 4th most popular to 16th. I may be having those numbers wrong, but they felt like a rock when it comes to like most traffic sites. Guess I'll be streaming on YouTube more because no one's coming to my Twitch streams anyway. Yeah, it's I don't know where to stream, man. Like, maybe I need to try like Kick or something, but no one ever watches my shit. Like, I don't know how to get eyeballs, and maybe it's because YouTube hates, like, they don't hate stoners, like, they won't take your shit down like some other platforms, but you worry about what they'll potentially do to you due to your popularity, because they control the algorithm. You know, they can screw you whenever they choose. And so I got this stoner channel, and I just can't get eyeballs, and maybe it's just because I don't know what I'm doing, but sometimes I wonder if it's because I'm just doing bong rips all the time and YouTube doesn't like that. But they won't take my shit down for it, which is nice. I'll give them that. But I just don't know where to stream, man. I'm not having a good experience streaming. I wish I should try Kick or something like that. But anyway, Twitch is not, they're continuing to not be profitable. I don't know why they haven't been able to figure that out. And they're getting less eyeballs than before, which is not good. It's going to make it harder for them to figure out their stuff over there. We'll see. We'll see what happens to Twitch. I don't know. So, personal news. I gotta do a bong rip before I tell this freaking story. Man, this flower. So there's some weed that's good for being creative and coming up with ideas. Whatever the freak I'm smoking right now, it's not it, man. It's not. Shit is making me. It's just, dude. Sometimes I smoke and I come up with all these ideas. This strain doesn't do that. Some strains are better for chilling and just clearing your mind, which is healthy. Other strains kind of bring you ideas, which is also healthy. Just, you got to find the strain for what you're trying to accomplish. And some strains make you forgetful. This strain makes me fucking forgetful. I got this air filter in the corner. It's so kick-ass. I mean, it's not the best air filter I've ever used, but it's the only air filter I've ever used. It's not the... What I mean is it's small. It does what it's better than nothing, and it works well as a fan. Because fans, typical fans don't shoot the air straight up in the air, and I like that about this fan. It helps to circulate the air in a way that other fans do not. Oh, this is a real dog shit podcast, but I don't care. We're persevering. Ooh, straight oil on my lips. All right, so I was driving around, ended up in this ghetto, right? And there's crackheads here and there, talking to people through car doors, through the window, buying drugs, probably. And road's kind of beaten up. I knew where I was, so I park in front of the house, and like 3 houses up, I see this fucking SUV, and it's got a yellow jacket trap hanging from the wiper. And that just screams, this fucking car ain't moving. This truck is dead as hell. It ain't going. It's so permanently here. We got a yellow jacket trap hanging on the back. Like, it was weirdly ghetto in a way that you just can't put into words. I've never seen that shit in my life. I don't anticipate I will ever see it again. Hilarious. I was kind of smiling to myself all day because of that. Hilarious. Yellow. That's how you know you're in the fucking ghetto. That is sign number 1. You've ended up in the hood. Um, Fucking tuck that gun a little bit closer when you're going through an area like that. Oh, I just used a bad word. YouTube's probably gonna fuck me. I'm gonna refill this coffee cup. My show and no one's here. Fuck it. Hey, baby. Come here, Molly. Ooh, that's hot. It is so hot. Come here, dog. Come here. Okay. I can't get the dog to cooperate. So, where are we at now? God, this is the worst podcast man has ever produced. I am making this show this week. Okay, so we talked about the yellow jacket trap. I noticed something this week. So cops have been going crazy this week. I got a damn seatbelt ticket. I'm never... Look, I have driven thousands of miles without my seatbelt. I'm not going to lie. I've driven by dozens of cops without my seatbelt. That fucking cop gave me that seatbelt and was the ticket and was out of there in a hurry. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on, you're really gonna waste time giving out a seatbelt ticket? Like, this is, I think seatbelt tickets are honestly one of the biggest wastes of time for the police to fuck with. Like, don't you have crime to deal with? Like, really? $115 seatbelt ticket. I gotta take a fucking traffic class to get around it. So fucking annoying. I think I still have to pay the full ticket. Plus all the fucking fees. So, thanks, police. Fantastic. Like, I'm not anti-police, but, like, I've needed them, and they never catch the guy. They always go the wrong way. I tell them he went that way, they go the wrong way. Aggravating. But they're always there to give me a horseshit ticket. Like, I had two other horseshit tickets I can think of off the top of my head. One, the cop was sitting at the bottom of a hill. It was about 200 feet outside of this speed change, and it's down the hill, so it goes from like 35 to 30, and you're kind of just moving with traffic, and there's a red light like 200 feet beyond that. So people kind of speed through the green light, they go down the hill, but it kind of slows down after that naturally. But she's parked fucking 100 feet beyond this sign. Like, it was right there, and pulls me over and gives me the speeding ticket, and didn't get out of that one. I think I got the fine reduced or some bullshit like that, but still went on my record. There's another one. What happened? I sped up to get around a semi truck, and because he just kept going into my lane, and there was not a lot of room to spare on this road, and I'm not fucking around, and so I speed up to pass him. The cop pulls me over. Told her what happened. She says, "Well, you're not passing at that speed." Gives me a ticket. Like, come on, man. Like, so it's better to stay there and let the cop roll me, because I would have had to go under the speed limit to stay behind this truck. And like, come on, like I'm not holding up traffic. Anyway, so he should have been in the right lane, regardless. But anyway, let's move on. Ooh, fuck! The coffee is hot. I'm gonna blow up this lighter if I. Oh, I saw this sign. I was on a walk. So I go to see Wolverine today. Maybe we'll start. I can roll that right into the Wolverine story. Oh, it's kind of funny, though, that South Park predicted that whole, claiming man fights a woman, just because he claims to be female situation. Predicted that whole thing. Gotta accept who you are. Gotta learn how to love yourself. Can't love some fake version of yourself. So I parked my car because I watched Wolverine versus Deadpool a few days ago. Forgot when I watched it. Oh, I hear the ice cream man. Can you hear it? I hope the mic picked that up. Anyway. Sometimes he goes to the neighbor. God bless him. I'm glad that I have a neighbor that attracts the ice cream man, because I rarely get... I just think of the money and the calories, and I just chicken out every time, but I love seeing the ice cream man. Anyway, what was I saying? God damn it. Oh yeah, so I park my car and I go to walk to the theater, because the street that I'm watching Wolverine on has no parking ever, and it's a bitch, and there's always tourists and crazy people, and it's been ruined, but I am not getting scared out of my own hangout spot. So I go watch Wolverine. Oh no, excuse me. I'm walking to the street, and I see the certified bird habitat sign on someone's fence. And I immediately had a very conflicted feeling, because holy shit, I almost fell out of my chair. That was bad. I have this mixed emotion, because you want to protect the birds. You want the birds to have a good place to live, because I believe that everything's connected biologically when it comes to the environment. And I feel like healthy animals means that you are also living in an environment that is healthy. And it's all connected. And I think some people, they are... I mean, there's balance, like you can't care so much about nature that nature will come over and fuck you up. Like, I think that I think they need to take care of some of those gators in Florida. I think they need to cut their population down to as low as they can, because they are dinosaurs. and they will eat you. They're one of the only animals that sees humans as food. There's not a lot of animals that do. Anyway, where was I going with this? So you want a healthy habitat for the birds because it's good for all of us. But like, who is the authority on the bird habitat? I might have to answer the door. Who is the authority on the bird habitat, I wonder? It's probably some government body. I don't know. But I do know that it kind of does come across as a little bit... I don't want to use the word elitist. It's just, that's a little much. But kind of is a little elitist. Like, my yard's meant for the birds and your yard is not meant for the... I don't know. Even if I owned my own home to decorate, and set up the bushes to attract birds and make it work out, I don't know that I would want to follow all the steps to meet the guideline that sign was meeting, but I don't want the sign, because it's probably governed by science and data, and I respect that, but I don't want a sign on my yard that says mine's a certified habitat. That's just too much. But be smart about your yard. Don't pollute the water. Don't pollute shit. For example, I used to watch David's Farm. He was a Canadian. He had a very popular YouTube channel when YouTube was very new. Not a lot of people know about David's Farm these days. I was a big fan. But I do remember... If I was capturing this on my phone, I would go out and get some ice cream. But I'm not fucking with that right now. I love the sound of the ice cream, man, though. The kids outside are they're very excited. I can hear them about the ice cream, man. Oh, it's the best. I hate getting old. I might have to close this window because it's very fucking distracting. No. I lost my train of thought. Fuck, I forgot where I was going with all that. I know I was still talking about that bird sign, but... Fuck, where was I going with all that? Oh yeah, David's Farm. So he had this farm. He called it a farm. I don't think he was growing anything there, unless he was growing weed, but who knows. In that case, good for him, but it's the only good for him I'll give him. Well, let me explain. He did car stuff, primarily. And he would invite people, many children and adults, to his farm. And they would drive these fucking cars. And some of them were motorcycles as well. And he had this big hill, and they would go up this hill, and I don't know if anyone got seriously injured, but I know they rolled some cars. But it was fun to watch. I don't know. And they had a big pond. He dug a lake and filled it, and he had a big swirly slide, corkscrew slide. It was a fun channel to watch. But at some point, At some point, I started to get creepy vibes from David's farm. One of the things was he did this video where he's like, let me show you why I don't have mosquitoes on my property. He takes a motherfucking paint can, oil can, and he dumps this oil can into all the puddles he sees on his farm. He's so proud. He's so fucking proud of his solution to the mosquitoes. So there are no birds on your farm that come to these fucking puddles and take a drink? I mean, there are some people that are just such white trash. I mean, I guess polluters can be any color of the rainbow, but these fucking morons that will just, willy-nilly pollute the environment. I'm not trying to sound like a fucking hippie, but if you could watch a bird drink oil out of a puddle and be the cause of the whole problem and just be down with that, like if like you should not be allowed to associate with people, because if you're the type that fucks with animals, you're often the type that fucks with people. And there's a shit ton of data to back that mindset up, where they found out that people that fuck with animals, they started there and then they move on to people. A lot of serial killers have this in common. A lot of just real fucked up criminals have this in common. People that torture animals, people that fuck with animals, people that think it's funny to see an animal in pain. I saw a video of a alligator eating a kitten. I didn't mean to see it. It just fucking scroll and, oh look, here it is, horrible thing to see. I've been trying to get this kind of shit out of my feed. And everyone's like laughing about it and making jokes in the comments. And there's just some things I don't have it in me, man. Like, not directly below the fucking video. Like, and I made the comment, hey, like, the FBI should be watching you people. And I got a few different people that got real defensive to my comment. Like, and argue with me about it and all this bullshit. And I'm like, look, most fucking criminals start on animals. Well, I don't know about most criminals start on animals, but a lot of the worst criminals have fucked with animals in literal ways and all sorts of different ways. And put these fucking people under the jail. And anybody that's on social media laughing about, watching an animal eat a kitten. I mean, sometimes it's nature, but it's a hard thing to watch. And if you're laughing about it, the FBI should be watching you. And I don't know, call me a fucking snitch, whatever, I don't like to live around people that enjoy seeing animals suffer. Whenever I watch those nature shows and they're eating each other, it's hard to watch. It's not fun. Hunting shouldn't be fun. It's something that needs to be done, but it shouldn't be. It should be hard. If it's not hard, then you need help. Like, I don't know. I've heard stories from people like FPS Russia talk about like just shooting small animals like it was nothing growing up. Like you just did it for fun. Like maybe it's a good thing he doesn't have guns anymore after saying shit like that. It's not good that they locked him up for weed, but I don't like that. Like, I fully support hunting. I don't support shooting animals for funsies. Like, fuck you. I don't think you should be part of society if you'd like to kill animals for fun. And David's farm is part of these sick fuckers that don't mind harming animals by poisoning the groundwater deliberately and things of this sort, because he ended up getting locked up because he was doing shit with children, turns out. And I realized that he was some kind of sexual criminal when, well, one, he kept making these videos where the cops are on his property and they're like, oh, here we go again, and crying about how no one's leaving him alone and shit. But he had another video where a woman, I hope she was an adult, but she's sitting on the back of his bike with no shirt on. You know, this is before YouTube had regulation. And I was like, this is weird, you know, and he's, you know, riding around with her. I'm like, she looks really young. But yeah, they locked him up for, I mean, you can Google it. I don't want to talk about the things that I heard about I saw on these news. It was a news video from some television news thing. So look up David's Farm, you'll find it. But that fucker got locked up, thank God. But what a wild roller coaster of emotions, going from liking this guy's channel, liking him, to, you know, somewhat, you know, being defending, feeling like I was on his side for a minute when people were, you know, on his case, and then slowly realizing that he was a complete piece of shit. I don't know how else to say it. But I'm surprised no one else talks about this. You know, David's Farm was a big fucking deal. You know, it was a big channel in the early days of YouTube. I remember he would get bees in his cars, and he would torch the bees with a flamethrower that he had built. Paranoid, but I have reasons to be paranoid. I always have people trying to come through the property off the street. But I remember he built this flamethrower out of a propane tank. He just light it and the flames come out, and he would torch the bees. And you know, look, I hate to be a hypocrite, but if you got to kill a shit ton of bees on your property, it's very expensive to get those things removed, and, you know, not everyone can afford it. Just don't film it. Like, don't film yourself torching the bees. He would freeze them as well with the same method, except he wouldn't light the propane. He would hit it with just the propane vapor, and it would freeze the nest. He would kill these bees in all kinds of ways, and he got in trouble for that too. Big deal, man. I mean, David Farm was a big channel in the earliest days of the YouTubes. So I don't know if anyone out there ever did a you know, the rise and fall of David's Farm, but I hope someone does. If someone sees this, I would love to see a detailed rise and fall of David's Farm thingy. But we got to move on to the Wolverine story. I saw Wolverine, and it was good. Overall, if you don't want to listen to the next couple minutes, I liked it. I think you should see it. Maybe even see it in theater to send a message to say, we want to see more of this. So, let's see if my high ass can remember anything about this damn movie. Because it's one of those action movies where it's kind of a blur, and it's kind of forgettable as much as I enjoy it. And I also don't want to spoil it. But Wolverine and Deadpool team up and just whoop on a bunch of guys. A big chunk of the movie takes place in the desert. This whole movie feels like it was made on a shoestring budget. They probably spent it all on Hugh Jackman and Ben Affleck, because everybody else is a nobody. Well, I take it back. I liked all of them. I thought all of the acting was fantastic. I thought it was great. Some of the writing was a little ridiculous. Like, there's a guy that says BT dubs at some point, and he's just kind of corny. He's kind of funny, but some of the writing's a little juvenile. It's like a kid, internet kid wrote it. But um, this movie feels like a video game. I don't know why they didn't make a video game out of this movie. Cause just I don't know, the scenery blows. That's the worst thing about the movie is they made this movie in a green screen room, and then they just clicked the desert button. And I hate movies that take place in the desert. It is just so boring. I can't think of a movie that I'm super passionate about that takes place in the desert. And it's just kind of a boring environment that they're in for most of the movie. I liked all the characters. There's a bald lady who is kind of hot, British accent. Down with that. Movie could use even more sexy ladies, but that's okay. There's a sexy lady. Well, I don't want to spoil, but not a lot of sexy ladies in this movie except for the one. And it's, if you got like bald chicks, I guess. I like something that gets me in these fucking action movies is the badass villain lady. It always triggers my pants every time. But that sequel to 300, man, the villain lady in that movie, I don't know what else to call her, the female antagonist, I don't know, just boss. But I don't know, maybe I just like women in society since the dawn of time. I think things are slightly changing lately, but I think women get a lot more out of not being in charge than being in charge, and it's just like the typical societal role, to the point where sometimes women want to be as helpless as possible, and that's not attractive to me. And I don't have money for that. I don't have money for helpless. So yeah, I like a woman that can do shit, and so maybe that's why I get off on the boss bitch kind of thing in these action movies. But regardless, some great action scenes in this movie. They have some good Wolverine versus Deadpool moments. So they're giving the nerds what they want. They have a lot of cameos, but it's a huge waste because they only have little dialogue scenes and then one large fight. But they don't really get to show these characters off one at a time in any action scenes. Most of the series, the critical action scenes are between Deadpool and Wolverine. The dialogue is funny. The jokes are pretty good. The movie does not give a shit about being woke in a world where Marvel is just kind of getting slagged left and right by both sides of the political aisle for just, Disney giving too much of a damn about politics and less of a damn about making a good movie. That's what I say is they're not focused on making good movies. They're focused on having an agenda of some kind. But regardless, I think this movie is kick-ass because they don't let the politics get in the way of a good joke, which is great. Some of the one or two of them, I was like, whoa, they're really asking for it. Some of these, they had a joke about the Boy Scouts, and that one. Oh, it's 420. That one kind of made me laugh. I think I said, "Oh my God," out loud in that theater. So I'm trying to think of other things about the movie I can't say. I didn't like the emotional moments in the movie. Like maybe they were just trying to be corny, but they just were. I don't know. I think they just got in the way. I I there's only so much you can say about this movie because there's not much to it, and I don't want to spoil it. Go see Wolverine versus Deadpool. Let's see if I wrote any notes about this of note. Any notes of note? The story was really thin. It felt like a video game story through and through. I didn't get much out of the story. This movie's all about dialogue, and that's about it. Dialogue and action scenes. Some good action scenes in this movie. It's good. Like I'm coming up with a lot of negatives just to round out this review, but I Hugh Jackman and Ben Affleck continue to be great. Is it Ryan? It's Ryan Reynolds, isn't it? I keep calling him Ben Affleck. Ryan Reynolds. It's like my only Ryan Reynolds role that I like. Everything else is just kind of corny that he does these days because he's like the same, you know. I don't know. It just gets on my nerves. Don't know how to articulate why he gets on my nerves, but God, I really wish they could have done more with the cameos. You know, they were just kind of wasted, in my opinion. Like some decent dialogue, but I kind of wanted more out of the characters because they bring them all in, they don't really use them. They need to right now. They probably are, but I think they need to make a new movie now. Make it Deadpool Wolverine 2 now. Strike while the iron is hot. Drop your phone. I really enjoyed it. It was a real breath of fresh air in a world where everyone's too sensitive to make a good joke. I think everyone should see it. Hugh Jackman is really thin in this movie. He's jacked, but he's like, he's not as bulked as he was in Logan and the other Wolverine. Some of the other Wolverine movies. He was probably running more miles than he was lifting in this movie, but he's got a six-pack that's chiseled out of stone. You know, he's very toned in this movie as well. He's just not enormous like he was in Logan, because that was his build in the older ones. So, and the orange suit is awesome. Like, I don't know how the fuck they modernized that suit and made it cool, but they found a way. I just wish the whole movie wasn't shot on a green screen. That really kind of like, it made it just, this feels like a video game movie. I know I keep saying that, but it literally feels like cutscenes taken out of a video game. But good production quality. Just all, the environment sucked. Anyway, but 4 out of 5, Deadpool Wolverine. I'm looking through my notes, just things to talk about. I've been watching these Starman shorts. They keep giving them to me on YouTube. I actually think they're a good replacement for a lot of the negative shit that social media wants to give me. Like fucking Twitter can be the worst at times. I've seen people die in so many horrible ways on Twitter on accident because you don't know what you're watching. There's no fucking subtitle to this video. And then before you know it, like, someone gets run over by a bus and their head explodes like a fucking watermelon. I saw that one time drinking my coffee in the morning. You know, it's a good way to start the day. So I try to not see shit like that. It's, I've seen enough people die on the internet for 20 people. So these Starman videos, it's David Bowie's Starman, set to heroes coming in and saving the day in real life circumstances, like pulling a kid out from in front of a moving bus or something like this. You know, someone coming along and knocking out a bad guy as he's holding up a store with a gun or something like that. I recommend these shorts. They're fantastic, and I wish I could come up with some real examples, but this fucking conversation doesn't need. We can move on from this, but get that in your algorithm. It's if you need to replace some negative content, it's a good replacement. So I saw. Oh, that was so close. I almost dumped my bong on the laptop. That would have been a bad time. That would have ended this podcast right now. I didn't expect it to go that far because it's so. I'm like keeping it far away on purpose. So I saw this post and I don't agree with any of it. Someone I know made this post that says music isn't as good as today because music isn't as good as today. Maybe if it's meant to say music isn't as good today because people are smoking less crack and more weed. Now, if you asked me what genre do people smoke a lot of crack in, I would say, well, I do not know what these new hip-hop kids are doing these days. I know they drink a lot of cough syrup. They're down with that lean. I am not. I don't drink cough syrup, and I am concerned for people that do. It is bad for you. Don't drink the lean, but whatever. It's a free country. Well, it's not a free country, but I don't care what drugs you do. Just stay out of my way. But the only genre I can think of that people smoked a lot of crack is old school gangster rap, and I like my old school gangster rap. I wouldn't want to change anything about it. So, I wouldn't. That's the shitty thing about a lot of old gangster rap is I like it when they talk about smoking weed. I don't like it when they talk about crack. When they talk about selling crack or smoking crack, it's just feels dirty. I'm not down with crack. No one's ever died from smoking weed though, and other than running into some tough characters along the way, I don't see a lot of harm coming along with selling weed either. But with all that said, plenty of excellent music from the dawn of time was inspired by marijuana. I mean, you want to start with Black Sabbath? You know, I read. Where is it? Here. This. Here. I recommend this book. You can probably find it on Audible. I Am Ozzy. It is fantastic. I got these fucking discs. Don't even know what I'm going to do with them now that I haven't touched this thing in so long. It was so good. But where was I going with this? Oh shit, I got distracted. Fucking lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, all sorts of great music was inspired by smoking marijuana. And there's a time and a place for it. Get your strain right. Don't smoke something that's going to make you fall asleep if you're trying to be inspired, you know. And don't smoke something that's going to give you a panic attack if you're trying to stay loose. But I don't know. I don't play instruments because I don't have time. Don't have time to learn something like that. But I could see a world where you would play poorly under the influence. But if you're trying to write, if you're trying to come up with new ideas and see things from a different perspective and be more open to hearing new ideas, not accepting everything you hear, but being open to hearing new ideas, marijuana's good for some people. There's some people that are so narrow-minded and just can't fucking hear it. They could use a little bit of weed. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I throw out so much garbage that it hits my ears. You know, most of it I'm like, okay, bullshit, whatever. But, like, I think I'm more well-rounded with the information I accept these days. There were certain things that I refused to believe before the weed, and because I actually bothered to take in evidence, like evolution, for instance, I thought it was just some bullshit that people made up, and you know, before the weed, I didn't bother to look at any hard evidence. I just listened to what people I knew said about evolution, which none of them were scientists. None of them knew a goddamn thing. Other fellow Christians, I would listen to them. But none of these people wanted evolution to be real. So they were fighting it. And they were seeking information that fought it. Instead of, actually reading what the scientists had to say, or watching YouTube videos about what the scientists had to say, and listening. Just as, hey, Ivy, I just saw that. Just as they listened to the Christians. Because, do you want the truth? Is that the goal? Or do you want what makes you happy? Do you want what makes you comfortable? Because I feel like when I left the faith, or on my way out of leaving the faith, like there was a time, this is a little personal, there was a time I was seeking therapy, but I did not want to seek therapy outside of the church, because I didn't want anybody to come against the reality I'd concocted inside the church. Because to a point, I wasn't seeking the truth. I was seeking this bubble, this cocoon. But at a certain point, I was like, well, I can't legitimately seek the truth and lean on what I know in the Bible as fact all the time without seeking evidence on all, looking at all the information. And when I started reading into evolution, watching Richard Dawkins videos, watching people that, I'll get to you, Ivy, watching people that understand evolution well and explain it in simple forms, there's a mountain of evidence to support evolution, and there ain't shit to support anything else. And all these people that want to believe aliens did it, all these people that want to believe the Bible did it, or the story in the Bible is scientifically factual, because that's what this conversation's about right here, is what is scientifically factually provable. God damn it. For people that are seeking the truth about the origin of humanity, where we come from, the history of our planet, as far as geography goes, the history of our planet, like as far as the massive floods go. Like the Bible says there was a global flood for 40 days. Scientists say that the planet would not survive this. It's not possible the way the Bible said it. Maybe there was a regional flood, a very large regional flood. I can believe that. But nothing survives 40 days underwater. So, and I learned that from that Bill Nye versus Ken Ham debate. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can go watch the debate. And when people go, oh, Bill Nye, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe Bill Nye because this and that. I'm like, what? Well, the things that Bill Nye says are not his fucking opinions. It's scientific fact that other scientists can verify with their data. So I'm following the data. I'm not following celebrities. And I'm not following what makes me comfortable. Because sometimes the truth just tastes like shit. And some people get so paranoid and they think everybody is forming a conspiracy against them, and all the information is from people that are forming a plot against them. Like, there's a distinction in my mind from Fauci and geologists, people that study fossils and stones, right? I don't think what the government says about COVID is factual. I don't think most of it's factual. I think they were just winging it. And because that happens, and because companies like General Mills lie to us, like they said that the whole food pyramid was bullshit, and so people see things like this and they go, well, science isn't believable because we've been lied to. And I go, well, they never had data to support their claims in the first place. So was it science? It was never science if there was never any scientific evidence to support what they said. So I think we need to form a distinction between the scam artists and people that have scientific data to support their claims. People like Bill Nye have scientific data to support what he says about the earth, about biology, about animals, about floods, things of this nature. Watch that debate, the Ken Ham versus Bill Nye debate. You can see for yourself. You can be the judge. Pick your side. But I don't really remember why I went down this whole path, but I think when it comes to having strong, to rewind real hard, if you have strong opinions about marijuana, like about a drug that has not killed anybody, if you're vocal about your opinions and you never tried it, like, that was the biggest reason why I tried it, was because I had strong opinions about it, and then I realized I was talking out of my ass, and it was coming from my religious upbringing. That's why I was vocal about not liking marijuana, but it wasn't about facts. It wasn't about the truth. It was just about my slanted perspective. And then I was like, well, if I'm gonna have a shitty opinion about this, I'm gonna smoke it and show those fucking hippies what's up. And the first time I did it, it kind of freaked me out. Pro tip: if you've never smoked before, don't let them get you high as fuck, because it might give you a panic attack. And they gave me a sativa, which is an upper, and I didn't like the upper feeling. So a few months later, I tried it again. And I don't remember shit about the second time. But what I do know is eventually I settled with indicas, and because I wanted to stay chill. I didn't want to be jacked up. I have coffee for that. But I learned that marijuana was a good replacement for alcohol, and I learned that it stimulated my mind and caused me to rethink a lot of what I was raised on, and just think about it. Like, it didn't skew my thinking in any way. It just caused me to say, let's look at information more. Let's look at more information. And my bullshit detector is maybe stronger than it was before the weed. Because of the weed, it causes me to kind of, I don't know. It makes it easier to know when I'm being lied to, when something sounds like it's coming from, if there's a conflict of interest. Like, if somebody is like, if you own an oil company and you're bitching about legislation to keep the water clean, that's an obvious example right there. But you learn when something might come from a point of bias as well. But it I think people, if they have an opinion about marijuana, they haven't tried it, they should. I'm not saying everyone needs to smoke weed. That's not what I'm saying. But I think if you can't quit bitching about it and you never tried it, it is a state of mind that you. How do you put a state of mind into words? You can't. You know, it's like trying to explain how you feel when you listen to music. You can't. Um, and it caused me to appreciate music more. It caused me to listen to new music, be more open minded to different forms of, different TV shows and bands and things of this nature, and help me to learn more simply by not being bigoted towards information. Like if it's bullshit, then it goes out the window. If it's not based on science, if it's not based on literal facts and tests that we can use to prove information, if you got a story and you can't prove it, then I can't help you with that. But I don't know. Like, I was just kind of a party pooper when it came to a lot of shit before the weed. And I think I'm less like that now. Wasn't down with 90s hip hop, and weed helped with that. I still think new rap sucks. I can't hear it. I can't listen to any of that. How are you doing, Ivy? I'm doing okay. It's a decent day. It's not hot today. It's been hot as a motherfucker here. It was 85 the other day, and I swear it felt like it was 105. Maybe I was just soaking up the exhaust from the air conditioner because I just pump heat out the window. But it felt hot on the porch. I had to break away from my long rant to include you eventually. I'm just recording a podcast here. I don't know how long I can keep this going. But yeah, if you got a strong opinion against weed, maybe you should give it a shot and then see if your opinion is still there. If you want to understand it. If you're curious, I'm curious. Now, I'm not curious enough to try anything stronger than weed. All that other stuff seems scary. I'm opposed to like hard drugs like crack and meth and all that shit. And I think psychedelics can help a lot of people. I just don't think I'm ready, or I don't know if I'll ever be ready for something stronger than weed. But I'm not against psychedelics. I believe that. I know we have hard data to show that they've helped a lot of people recover from real trauma. Veterans with PTSD and things of this nature have benefited from psilocybin, which is the active ingredient in magic mushrooms. And there are many other examples of how psychedelics have helped people. I'm scared. I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I can do that. But I'm not being a bitch about it, and, because I can't handle it, I'm not whining at people that want to use it to expand their mind and help recover from real trauma. It's none of my fucking business. Now, meth, get that shit out of here. I don't know how that makes anyone better. I don't know. It helps. I guess it helps some people operate at a. It's like really, 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 really strong coffee. So if that's what you're looking for, okay. But I think it does more harm to society than good. If you want to fucking do meth in your own house and not go out and cause trouble, fine. But all these motherfuckers, they get high and end up in the street throwing shit at traffic. Then they get run over and everyone wants to go to bat for them. I don't get it. Oops. I think that's mostly it. This has been a horrible show. I woke up just exhausted, couldn't really get my shit together mentally, but I knew I wanted to talk about the current events while they were still current. I didn't want to drag it out for another week, so I figured it was now or never. This has been a bad show. I should talk to you guys about Merlin. Speaking, because we were talking about birds earlier. Merlin is an app you can download on your mobile device, your phone, and it listens for bird sounds. And I wonder if I can actually do this now, because I don't even have it installed. Merlin, here it is. Merlin Bird ID by Cornell. Recommend downloading Merlin Bird ID. And I'll tell you what, skip this, continue, allow while using the app, skip all this, continue, allow. Okay, now I'm going to put this up in my window. We'll see what happens, but what it does is it will listen for the bird sounds. It will identify the bird, and it'll give you a picture if you download the bird packs for free, because otherwise you get just a gray box instead of a photo of the bird. It's a lot of fun just hitting the go button on that thing and seeing what list you can fill out, and maybe you're just chilling out in the yard having your coffee, or you're mowing your lawn. You can put down your phone and check on it later and see all the birds that collected. It's fun. I don't know. It's a real lazy time with the Merlin Bird ID. Maybe put my phone up here was a bad idea, because I rapidly realize how much I need my phone. You guys remember those giant 20-ounce yogurts from McDonald's that came with the fruit and the granola? How badass was that? I really miss it. Because now I don't think they even sell the yogurt. And the last time I checked, it was this tiny little thing. Before it was like $5. You got 20 ounces of yogurt. And it was a monster thing. 2 people could split if you wanted to. It was the best, man. McDonald's. You used to be able to find items that were enjoyable at McDonald's. Now the only thing I can enjoy at McDonald's is their smoothies. Sometimes their coffee's okay, but they often water it down too much. I like my coffee to taste strong. I don't like it to taste like water. Well, guys, I think that's all we got this week. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry this has been such a fucking train wreck. I really didn't have much to talk about. See, it's fucked, because if I'm in the right headspace, I talk a lot better than other times, and I'll have moments just while I'm driving where I feel like I could hit go on a microphone and do a podcast in that moment and have all kinds of things to say, and just be inspired. Today's not one of those fucking days, and I'm just pushing through. But thanks for watching, everybody, and hopefully we'll have another show next week. I was looking at a big old fucking goose egg when it comes to my my viewers, but if you want to come on the show, please leave a comment, and if you're a normal person, we can have you on the show. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. See you next week, I hope.